Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and we are right now on the road to Albany, New York, where there is set to be a large protest over at Academy Park and then around the Capitol starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, so in a little over an hour, and then at 11 a.m. is when they're going to be, going around the park. Now, before I talk about that and the many different speakers that are going to be there, that include nurse whistleblowers, that include civil rights attorneys, that also include an ex-Navy SEAL and ex-FBI agent, I want to talk about Herschel Walker for a second. Now, for those that don't know who Herschel Walker is, he's, one of the highest level athletes of my generation. This is a guy that was a Heisman winner, that played very late into his career in football, a guy that actually became a mixed martial artist and had a couple professional fights, I think, well into his 40s, and somebody that I actually see quite a bit when I go to these MMA events, the Bellator events in particular, and he's usually hanging around with Scott Coker, who runs the organization. Now, I have a multitude of respect for this guy. Not because I agree with everything he's ever said or done, although it'd be hard-pressed to find a Herschel Walker scandal. This guy was the epitome of somebody who didn't trash talk, who was the real, say your prayers and eat your vitamins kind of guy, okay? And, still extremely good shape, has a lot of discipline in his life, but he's also a religious guy, okay? He's one of those Christians you read about and hear about. And it really disturbs me and disgusts me every time I post something from some other individual that might have a different perspective than somebody who said he had to stop his workout, he wanted to do this video because he had seen a bunch of these so-called protesters outside burning the American flag, burning a Bible, and even burning a cross. Think about that, burning a cross. Now, again, this freedom of speech, I'm not saying what they did was illegal, but when a highly religious man is upset that you're burning his Bible, okay, and talking about that with a very somber tone and a somber face, and you're disrespecting that because he has money, because he has a nice house, because he has a pool, you're an ignorant piece of shit, okay? Just because somebody's successful doesn't mean they don't get a say, period. And I think the guy is a genuine guy. And the people that are burning these books, that we're burning books now, have no idea what that symbolizes. And I'll tell you what it symbolizes. It symbolizes aggressive ignorance, okay? If you don't agree with that book, there are plenty of others that you can show people, that you can have them read. If you don't agree with that religion, there are plenty of others out there. And again, you want to burn down this flag, that's fine. For me, the flag doesn't hold that oh my goodness moment, right? I long abandoned the flag after the war on terror. I don't sit here and talk about Americana all the time. No, I talk about a corrupt predator class that runs our media military industrial complex, which is basically a corporate slave state at this point. We used to have a constitutional republic. We don't. We don't have a constitutional republic. We need to take our constitutional republic back. And then you'll have the morons out there that are doing this thinking that we live in a democracy when we don't live in a democracy. And that's not what this is about. And they'll sit there and deny the numbers of how now, in the most violent year ever in Portland, Oregon, for 30 years. Let that sink in. 30 years. The most shootings in New York City. We already have more. 4 months, 1/3 of the year is left. We got trash everywhere. We got authoritarians telling me I should be wearing a mask on the street in 80 to 90 degree weather. And we got very little pushback. But we're going to some of that pushback right now, okay? And hopefully we're going to have hundreds of people out here. I personally didn't know about it until I think 2 days ago. I came across that this was going to be a thing. And so many people in my comment section, I barely post on Facebook because everybody wants to chime in and tell me what an asshole I am because they're all from New York City and Long Island and they're brainwashed into loving their servitude. Okay? I posted an article thanking Holland. I say, thank you, Holland. Now, the headline says, Holland scientists don't see really any value in wearing a mask. All right? Doesn't matter that their fucking hero, Anthony Fauci, is on camera saying it's symbolic. It's really more symbolic. Doesn't really do anything. They were told by their leftist leaders, and I'm sorry, it is the leftists. You don't see a lot of right-wingers doing it, okay? Their leftist leaders, they should be a slave, okay? And then, I'm not for it, so people try to push me into like some MAGA crowd, which I'm not a part of, okay? I want people to understand that just because you don't want a slave device put over your face, not because they're worried about your health, but because we're in a transhumanist agenda right now, where an automation nation is being built, and they are working human beings out of the equation. That's all it is. Because I say that, and I'm disgusted by it, somehow I'm part of the MAGA crew. It's mind-blowing. It's not real, okay? One can be there without the other. And the idea that I live in a racist country is also bullshit. All right? It's bullshit to say that my entire country is racist. Does it have racists in it? You bet it does. One of them happens to be running for president right now. And it ain't the other guy. It ain't the guy they told you was a racist. Donald Trump, guess what? He never ran on a segregationist platform. Okay? Joe Biden, you bet he did, in the 90s. Joe Biden is the one that was giving eulogies to ex-Ku Klux Klan members. Okay? Oh, we got this giant friggin' house thing in front of us. Yeah, that's right. Get over to the side so I can totally pass you. Oh, this is going to be a pain in the ass. Oh, well. Well, we're going to do it. So, it boggles my mind. You got a guy that's literally so visually and verbally incoherent, they only let him out into the public arena every few days or so. Most of these are prepackaged interviews. He hasn't chosen a vice presidential candidate unless I missed that last night or this morning. And there's less than 100 days. There's not going to be one physical debate between these guys, and it's all by design. It's all by design to try to push this very odd agenda of outward slavery for the American public, defund the police. Look, I'm no friend to corrupt police officers. That's not something I am or have ever been. I've always been somebody who has called out police brutality, who has called out police corruption, who has said the militarization of a police is not only a mistake, but something that we should pull back on. At the same time, I don't want Spot, the DARPA robot, telling me to social distance because another invisible enemy, this one's even more deadly, is out there. And I've got to bow down to the crowd of forced vaccinations and medical martial law. No, it's never going to be me. And it's going to feel good to be around other people that aren't living in fear, that are pushing back against the government's draconian dictatorship and executive orders. And let me say this, today might be the day that I'm streaming live and they take me off, finally. This is going to be harmful content. It's not a protest that's social justice awards for social change. Tony Fauci getting an RFK Ripple Award. Okay? How insane is that? That a guy who's supposed to be a scientist and looking out for our health, which I don't see it. I've seen him talk out of his Faucian mouth where he just goes along with whatever's said and tries to obfuscate the facts, that Fauci. But no, he's how political the whole thing is, how it has everything to do with control. That's where we're at, man. So I'm hoping that there's a good turnout here, that people are pushing back against the mandatory masks, against the fact that New York is in phase 4. We did it. This is the final phase. We did it. We beat it. We flattened their fucking curve, but you can't open your business. Oniana Taekwondo, the gyms, they've been eviscerated by this. Okay, the bars are done. How are they going to survive with your $12,000 loan? $12,000 in a business like that, that's a good week. Summertime, it's not even a good week during the school year. That's a piss poor week, really, during when people are here. No tourists, right? Close down the baseball thing here. And I'm just sick of it. I'm done. And all these people that are like, you want people to die or all this bullshit. I'm like, again, you look at Holland not wearing masks, okay? They have a less than 1% death rate on those that actually get diagnosed with the disease. Okay? Think about that. How many people are asymptomatic? How many people have they not even identified as having it? Lowering the death rate even further. And then they go, oh, well, it says here there's a marginal increase in hospitalizations and death. Excuse me, it says marginal. It's probably a piece of 1% where they would have said something. Meanwhile, the actual cases doubled, and yet the death rate and the hospitalization rate was marginal. It didn't double, okay? So because the cases doubled doesn't mean the death rate or the hospitalization rate doubled. And I'm still waiting for anybody to show me any professional athlete that's now been back in the COVID 1984 world that's gone to the hospital. Not been put on a ventilator, not died, been put in a hospital. Is there one professional athlete, just one out there? I don't think so. So guys, I'll be back with you in a little over an hour in Albany, New York, as long as everything goes well. And we're going to push back against Cuomo Capo. You know, again, he's not at the top of the food chain. He's taking orders. He's talking about Meatball, his daughter, and bullshit, and telling you the facts aren't the facts, and patting himself on the back and doing a victory lap. I mean, when real people died, okay? That's real. People died. Real people right now are suffering because of this guy. Okay? And New York is almost unrecognizable. Guys, I love you. Remember, I'm fully demonetized here. There's a GoFundMe link in the description below now, more than ever. Make sure you're checking out documentary films as well. And I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip.